Japan, land of modernity and tradition, developed to the rhythm of its main island, Honshu. At the foot of Mount Fuji, it is the largest and most populated of the archipelago. Wounded by earthquakes and wars, it is home to the capital Tokyo and the ancient imperial city of Kyoto. This journey between land and sky, into the heart of the world's third economic power, plunges into the intimate life of a people who have made history. Our journey over the island of Honshu begins in Tokyo. Fascinating, tentacular, and magnetic. Flying over the Rainbow Bridge, we arrive at the capital of Japan, the city that never stops growing. Tokyo is limitless. Today it is one of the most populous cities in the world. It is home to more than 13 million people. Located in the largest coastal plain of Japan, Tokyo was originally called Edo. Capital of the East, the city developed through trade. This technological miracle became the centerpiece of the Japanese political chessboard. Devastated in 1923 by a violent earthquake, bombed during World War II, Tokyo has always recovered. Children born in the post-war baby boom came to settle in the capital, multiplying its population by 7 in 70 years. The rapid economic development of Japan allowed everyone to find a job. In the 20th century, it became one of the greatest cities in Asia. Tokyo is divided into 23 districts. One of the most famous is Shibuya. This cosmopolitan city is a crossroads for different cultures that meet in this district dedicated to fashion. During rush hours, thousands of people pass here every day beneath the giant screens on the skyscraper facades. Their movements are regulated by traffic lights and by the coming and going of the trains at Shibuya Station. By night, planet Tokyo becomes a shining galaxy of multicolored towers. It rocks to the beat of its karaoke bars and shopping malls. Despite its almost inhuman size, its numerous neighborhoods and millions of inhabitants, Tokyo the Bright is one of the safest cities in the world. The tentacular city has swallowed up the neighboring towns, creating the biggest megalopolis in the world. At dawn, Tokyo, the heart of this huge megalopolis, the main financial center of Japan, wakes up. Its industrial activities are concentrated along the shores of the Bay of Tokyo and, each year, recover a little bit more land from the sea. The heart of the Bay of Tokyo, like a modern sea creature. The Aqua Line links the cities of Kawasaki and Kisarazu on the other side of the bay. This submarine highway allows vehicles to dive beneath the sea via a 10-kilometer-long tunnel. In Tokyo, during the working day, every minute matters. Symbol of the country's reconstruction after World War II, the Tokyo Tower in the Minato district was built in 1958. a communications tower for radio and television, directly inspired by the Eiffel Tower, it is the red and white emblem of the Japanese capital. The Tokyo Dome is a mythical spot for the Japanese, who are great fans of baseball. Baseball, imported by the Americans at the end of the 19th century, is the most popular sport in Japan. The biggest city in the world is a complex mechanism made up of business buildings, alleyways, 280 subway stations, and numerous parks. It keeps working thanks to the trains that run through the huge capital and transport several million workers each day. In the Shinjuku district, these twin towers host the Tokyo Metropolitan Government headquarters. Every 4 years, a new governor is elected by the inhabitants. One of the more recent international symbols of Tokyo is the Tokyo Sky Tree. Twice as high as its older brother, the Tokyo Tower, it soars to a height of 634 meters. For its design, the engineers took their inspiration from the famous 5-story pagodas found in many Japanese temples. It is supported by a central pillar that is resistant to earthquakes. The Chiyoda district is the political heart of Japan. With such edifices as the National Diet Building, where 2 Japanese houses meet, the House of Representatives and the House of Councillors. They vote on laws and budgets, and are the scene of debates on the main political lines of the country. Despite its imposing size, many green spaces nestle among the towers, as in the heart of Tokyo, where you can see the Imperial Palace and its vast gardens. It's around the Palace of the Emperor that the megalopolis has developed over the centuries. It remains the residence of the living symbol of the nation and the unity of the Japanese people. "100 kilometers from Tokyo, we make out the graceful outline of Mount Fuji. Still active, Mount Fuji is a protective emblem of the Big Island. At 3,776 meters, it's the highest point of Japan. Repeatedly represented in popular culture, acclaimed by poets and glorified by painters, Mount Fuji embodies Japanese perfection. The pillar of national unity in the minds of the whole population, many Japanese climb it at least once in their lifetime in search of purification and spiritual well-being. The ascent of Mount Fuji was forbidden to women until 1872. In spring, in the region of the 5 lakes, the Japanese celebrate Mount Fuji, decorating it with huge bouquets of shibazakura flowers. The mountain is embellished by the hand of man, and an imaginary world becomes a fleeting reality. We leave Tokyo and Mount Fuji by following the Shinkansen, the Japanese high-speed train that connects Japan's largest cities at over 280 kilometers per hour. Our journey continues from the Bay of Suruga on the Pacific coast to the city of Nagoya. At the foot of the Japanese Alps, in the region of Shizuoka, the famous wasabi is grown. The plant is renowned as one of the oldest Japanese remedies. We can find traces of it in dishes served at the imperial court 1,000 years ago. The Japanese use it to spice up their dishes. Its root, finely grated, is the perfect condiment and a very refined dish. The wasabi plant appreciates the clear water of these streams. Thanks to the purity of this water and the mountain climate, it developed spontaneously before being cultivated by farmers. It takes a lot of patience. The root needs 2 to 3 years to mature and become edible. Further south, in the Shizuoka region, we fly over mountains of tea plantations. They mostly cultivate green sencha tea, the most popular in Japan. The archipelago produces almost 80,000 tons of tea each year. Renowned for its natural and bracing effects, tea was used by Buddhist monks during long periods of meditation. Seen from the sky, the Japanese ideogram for the word tea dominates the fields. Nagoya is the 4th largest city in the country, with more than 2 million inhabitants. Heavily bombarded during the Second World War, it is mostly of recent construction. Nagoya Castle, in the center of the city, was built in the 17th century. It was destroyed during an air raid at the end of World War II. As so often in Japanese architecture, the ancient castles were mostly built of wood, making them very vulnerable to fire and artillery attacks. Completely rebuilt in the early 1960s, on its roof we can make out the famous Kinshachi, 2 golden dolphins with tiger heads that guard the city. To the south of the castle, the white towers of the Japanese Railway Company, JR Central, stand over Nagoya's central station. By taking the highway across the 750-meter Meiko Nishi Bridge, we arrive at the port of Nagoya on Ise Bay. It is one of the biggest in Japan. From the port of Nagoya, more than 1 million vehicles made in Japan are shipped around the world each year. The big container ships provide commercial connections to the different continents. Many of them carry more than 10,000 containers and are more than 300 meters long. We continue to follow the Pacific coast to the port of Yokkaichi. Maritime activity plays an essential role in Japan. It ensures the smooth running of the whole economy. In major trading ports like Yokkaichi, many refineries line the coast. They were a source of pollution in the 60s and triggered the appearance of many respiratory diseases. A strong government policy then forced manufacturers to equip themselves with anti-pollution systems. Since 1977, air quality has returned to normal. Further west, along the Pacific coast, we discover Kyoto, the city of temples near Lake Biwa. Kyoto, a city of extreme refinement, capital of the arts and spirituality, was the political center of Japan for 1,000 years. Throughout its history, the city has been filled with temples, palaces, and gardens. In the center of the city, Kyoto has preserved its former imperial residence. The Emperor of Japan and his court lived there until the beginning of the Meiji era, in 1868. Today, the vast palace gardens and their 50,000 trees are the delight of the city's inhabitants. The Buddhist temple Kinkakuji is illuminated by the rising sun. Famous Golden Pavilion, the private residence of a great general and politician of the 14th century, subsequently became a favorite spot for celebrations and outings for the local nobility. Listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the great writer Yukio Mishima dedicated one of his literary masterpieces to this beautiful building. Further east, the majestic Kiyomizu temple complex was built in the 8th century. Isolated in the mountains, it has been destroyed and rebuilt more than 10 times. Its main lodge, the Hondo, stands at the edge of a precipice. Built on huge 12-meter stilts, the panoramic view of the gardens of the temple and Kyoto is breathtaking. The Hozu River is another way to get to Kyoto. The descent of the river between mounts and valleys allows you to enjoy peacefully the abundant nature of the Kyoto region in an enchanting setting. Our last stop in Kyoto lies to the northeast of the city. This secluded spot acted as a cemetery for the poor and an open mass grave. 1,200 years ago, a Buddhist monk erected a temple here to the memory of the dead, the Adashino Nenbutsuji Temple. The scattered stones were all gathered together in the 20th century to create this unique and strange place of remembrance. There are more than 8,000 gravestones lined up around a statue of Buddha. Kyoto also has a large number of typically Japanese gardens. Garden design is an ancient and respected art in the land of the rising sun. A Japanese garden must interpret and idealize nature in order to attain daily perfection. Just before nightfall, a few hundred meters from the Nanzenji temple, surrounded by greenery. The employees of the Murin-an Japanese garden give the final touches to one of the masterpieces created in the Meiji period, in 1896. We leave the Pacific coast of Honshu to cross to the other side of the island, to the steep shores of the Sea of Japan. Sheltered from wars and natural disasters, this coast of Honshu is still very wild, and the coastline carefully preserved. The crooked and rocky coastline reveals numerous beaches. Some inlets still shelter traditional villages that are exposed to the harsh winds blowing from the open sea. On the Noto Peninsula, in the village of Ozawamachi, 3-meter bamboo poles protect the houses from the wind. This ancient technique is used by the inhabitants of coastal villages against the wind and the blazing sun of summer. Among the hills that line the sea, we find skillfully terraced paddy fields. At Shiroyone, more than 1,000 plots spread over the hillside to the sea. Admirably maintained and irrigated thanks to traditional skills, they are part of an international agricultural legacy. In these paddy fields, all the work is done by hand. Seen from above, it is a beautiful landscape. We leave the paddies of the Noto Peninsula to travel further south to the city of Tottori, on the rugged Sea of Japan coast of Honshu. Near the city of Tottori, we fly over a geological curiosity. Sand dunes. The dunes of Tottori, which are more than 100,000 years old, were created by sediments carried from the neighboring mountains by the Sendai River. Its height varies with the wind, and some dunes even reach a height of 50 meters. The maritime currents bring sand from the bottom of the sea, and the wind constantly alters the shape of the dunes. 16 kilometers long, they have become an unmissable attraction for tourists. Sand is a key element that replaces water in a Zen garden. The form of the waves is hinted at around the rocks. In the Yu-Shien Japanese garden, between Tottori and the city of Matsue, we can admire one of these abstract gardens. This graceful and refined garden inspires silent meditation and well-being. An ideal of a miniature garden in which, each year, flowers, and especially peonies, are celebrated. More than 30,000 red and white flowers are placed on the surface of the pond, thus creating a unique and wonderful garden. We end this stage of our journey on the shores of the Sea of Japan, by the Hiikawa River that meanders across the Izumo Plain. According to legend, it was on these banks that the eight-headed snake, Yamato no Orochi, was killed by Susanoo, the god of storms in the Shinto religion. Further inland, we reach the idyllic setting of the Tachi Kuekyo Valley. Sheltered in the heart of the mountains, this spot has the mysterious atmosphere of a virgin forest. The next stage of our journey will take us to admire the cherry blossoms of Nara, and then further south to Osaka. South of Kyoto, Nara is a small city with just 360,000 inhabitants. In the 8th century, it was the first established capital of Japan and the emperor's place of residence. City of arts and architecture, a domain of sacred deer, it is one of the birthplaces of Japanese civilization. To the east of the city, at the foot of Mount Wakakusa, stands one of the most remarkable Buddhist temples in Japan, the Todai-ji Temple. The temple is still active, and today its community of monks teaches some of the branches of Japanese Buddhism. Outside the city, an amazing natural spectacle takes place every year in the Yoshino Mountains. In April, as the cherry trees blossom, everyone celebrates the Hanami Festival. This time of year is cherished by the Japanese. The hills of Yoshino Mountain are covered with more than 30,000 cherry trees of different varieties. While the chrysanthemum is the emblem of the emperor, the Japanese recognize themselves above all in cherry blossom. The sakura flower is present everywhere in Japan, in pictorial or musical art, but also on fans, kimonos, or dishes. Every spring, the Japanese come to admire them and celebrate the start of the new year. We continue our journey to Osaka, the third biggest city in the country. Osaka is the economic capital of the Kansai region. This city, rich in history, has been that of merchants and rice traders for centuries. Protected by deep moats, the construction of Osaka Castle took 15 years. It is built on the ruins of an important Buddhist temple. Its construction was an opportunity to create a new urban pattern for the development of the city. It was the scene of many epic battles in the 16th and 17th centuries. The donjon has 5 levels. Covered with golden leaf, It is surrounded by secondary citadels, turrets, and impressive stone walls. Around the castle lies an immense park, in the middle of a forest of modern buildings. Osaka City Central Public Hall, with the Western influence apparent in its red bricks and Renaissance-like aspect, is a public building that hosts numerous shows. It is one of the symbols of the city's cultural activity. Osaka is also a major modern financial center. The efficiency of its businessmen is renowned throughout Japan. It thus needed a skyscraper that would bring the city into the 21st century. Inaugurated in 2014, it is now the tallest building in Japan. At 300 meters, the Abeno Harukas Tower, which means to illuminate in Japanese, dominates the whole city. The top of the tower, which has 60 floors, is reserved for contemplation. One of the favorite spots of the inhabitants of Osaka is the Tsutenkaku Tower. Destroyed by fire in 1943, the people of the city lobbied to have it rebuilt. It dominates the Shinsekai district from its height of 103 meters. In the vast suburb of Sakai, we find the stately remains of the Japanese emperor's tombs, erected in the 5th century. In the Daisen-yo Kofun lies the tomb of the Emperor Nintoku, the 16th emperor of Japan. Throughout Japan, many kofuns still retain their mystery and have never been explored. At 486 meters long, the Daisen Kofun is one of the world's largest graves. These keyhole-shaped graves are characteristic of the Kofun era, between the 3rd and 7th centuries. The funerary chambers are located in the round part of the monument. They seem to open a door to the spirit world and testify to the ancient history of Japan. In this dense urban environment, big Japanese cities like Osaka never forget to breathe. The avenues are very wide. In autumn, the Japanese maples turn bright yellow. The city is crisscrossed by rivers and canals, like the Yodogawa River that flows into the Bay of Osaka. Here stands one of the city's most amazing agricultural feats, a skyscraper in the shape of an arch, the Omeda Sky Building. It is 173 meters high and combines 2 office buildings. On its top floor, the tower has a viewing gallery. We leave the flashy city of Osaka to reach Kobe and fly over Japan's largest castle in Himeji. the Bay of Osaka, the port city of Kobe has more than 1.5 million inhabitants. In many harbours, the intense maritime traffic has required the construction of small artificial islands, such as Port Island, which extends the industrial infrastructures of the city by reclaiming land from the sea. Until the middle of the 19th century, Japan was a partially isolated country. After 1868, Kobe became one of the first Japanese cities to open up to maritime trade with the West. We traveled along the coast from Kobe to Himeji. We discover the beaches of Suba, just a few minutes by train from Kobe. This is where the inhabitants of the big cities of the bay come to relax during their leisure time. From the beach, we can see the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, the world's longest suspension bridge. It was designed to resist winds of almost 300 kilometers per hour and earthquakes of up to 8.5 on the Richter scale. Almost 4 kilometers long, it crosses the Akashi Strait to connect the districts of western Kobe to the island of Awaji. A few kilometers to the west of Kobe, we find the small town of Himeji. It is home to the most famous castle in Japan, the majestic and peaceful Himeji Castle. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, this castle, with the winged roof, is nicknamed the White Heron. Built in the middle of the 14th century, Himeji Castle was, at the time, the largest castle in all of Asia. Built like a warship, unlike many others in Japan, it has never been destroyed or burned. Himeji Castle miraculously escaped the bombing of the town in 1945. Invincible, it has survived throughout the centuries. Before leaving the vibrant island of Honshu, we fly down to Hiroshima and its beautiful bay dotted with small islands. In southwest Honshu, we reach the port of Hiroshima via the Seto Inland Sea. Hiroshima has just over 1 million inhabitants. A symbol of World War II, is forever linked to the terrible atomic explosion that destroyed the entire city on August 6, 1945. The Peace Memorial, which lies between two branches of the Motoyasu River, was built a few years after the explosion. It is a place of commemoration for all the victims of the atomic bomb. The initial explosion killed 140,000. And since that date, the number of victims has kept on rising. Today, the estimated total is over 300,000. The bomb, nicknamed Little Boy by the Americans, exploded at a height of 600 meters above the city. The target was this bridge in the shape of a T, the Aiyoi Bridge. The atomic bomb dome survived the explosion and is one of the few buildings that testify to what happened. The former hall of industry for the prefecture of Hiroshima has been left as it was. It is now a symbol of peace. Today, the younger generation maintains places that were struck by the supreme weapon. Standing before these monuments full of history, it is perhaps easier to imagine a peaceful future, despite the nuclear threat that still hangs over our world. While the memory of the atomic bomb has made Hiroshima a place of remembrance devoted to the cause of peace, the city has become once again an economic center for the entire population of the region. On leaving Hiroshima, we can go to admire one of the most famous Shinto shrines in Japan, on the island of Miyajima, the sanctuary of Itsukushima. At low tide, it is possible to walk beneath the vermilion arches of the torii that reflect in the turquoise water. Here, since the 6th century, the Japanese have honored the spirits that ensure the prosperity of the nation and protect sailors. Those divinities of the Shinto religion cherished by the Japanese and that are hidden in the natural world or beneath the waters. Around the island of Miyajima, thanks to the temperate climate of the inland sea, oysters have been raised since the 16th century. Oysters from the Bay of Hiroshima, renowned for their huge size and full-bodied flavor, are known throughout the country. Off the coast, there are numerous oyster beds, and their bamboo poles rise up to the sky, gracefully carving up the calm surface of the sea into squares. The geographical situation of the Sea of Seto, protected by the land, makes it a very calm sea, ideal for oyster farming. Between seas and volcanoes, at the heart of an archipelago of more than 6,000 islands, the history of Japan is that of a people who have always had a spiritual relationship with nature, a source of danger and life.